Welcome to Fix It Home Improvement, covering projects that every homeowner should know and great products for home and garden.
Hi, I'm JC, and this is where we share weekly home improvement tips. I'm here with my co-host, Cindy.
Hello, JC.
Hi, Cindy. This week we're going to be talking about sound machines for sleep, and we'd like to thank Jose Luis for liking and sharing the podcast. And we'd also like to thank Mike Luoma for sharing our podcast on his podcast called Glow in the Dark Radio, and that's where Mike reads his science fiction stories. One of the first patents for an electromechanical sound machine was in 1963. It used a fan inside a housing made out of a dog bowl, and it created a sound like white noise. The inventor was James Buckwalter, and the patent says it will produce a restful sound to shut out disturbing ambient noises. He formed the Marpac company to sell the machine, and the sound machine is now called the Dome sound machine, and it's still a top-rated sound machine today.
What is a sound machine?
It's a device that generates a sound or sounds to help block distracting sounds so you can fall asleep, stay asleep, or to help you concentrate when you're working. A lot of the sound machines are called white noise machines, and there are two types, an electromechanical sound machine or a digital sound machine.
What's the difference?
Mechanical machines usually have a small electric motor that spins a fan inside the unit, and the fan creates a unique whir or humming sound that's similar to white noise. Some mechanical machines have a cover with openings that can be adjusted to change the sound and the volume. Digital sound machines have a variety of recorded sounds like a fan, rain, ocean waves, a crackling fireplace, or nature sounds, or they're generating a sound like white noise, pink noise, or brown noise.
How does a sound machine work?
The sound that the machines generate creates a background sound that helps block out neighborhood or house sounds, like car alarms, dogs barking, airplanes, cars honking, walking sounds, flushing toilets, snoring, or conversations. In a New York City survey, 64% of the participants said noise woke them up or disturbed their sleep at least once a week. In the Journal of Caring Sciences, they had a study to analyze the effects of white noise on sleep in patients admitted to a coronary care unit. The most common complaints on the unit for what disturbed a patient's sleep were heart monitors, phones ringing, the sound from heating and cooling systems turning on and off, alarms, and staff conversations. And the patients said they were most disturbed by the alarms and conversations. The study analyzed 62 patients with a minimum age of 30 years old, all with good hearing and similar medications. Half of the patients were exposed to white noise during the noisy hours in the ward at night, and the results showed improved sleep and quality of sleep in the group with the white noise. And based on their findings, the use of white noise was recommended as a method for masking environmental noises and improving sleep in a hospital setting.
Cool.
Healthline said a 2021 study found white noise improved sleep for people who experienced difficulty sleeping due to high levels of environmental noise in metropolitan areas. Using a sound machine every night can also train your brain that it's time to sleep. A clinical psychologist who specializes in sleep disorders found that if it's too quiet in a bedroom, disruptive noises are more noticeable to many people. And a sound machine can help make distracting sounds less jarring or noticeable.
Okay.
A sound machine can also be used in a home office to reduce noise distractions and increase productivity. The goal of sound masking in an office is usually to make speech unintelligible and to reduce distracting sounds so the brain isn't trying to process those sounds.
Right.
Studies have shown that understandable background speech or conversations are some of the most disturbing sounds for cognitive performance. One study looked at 80 participants. Half used white noise while memorizing a group of names that they've never heard before. The other half completed the study sessions in silence. The researchers found that those who used white noise had better word recall accuracy on a memory exam than those who didn't use white noise while studying. Interesting, huh?
It is.
But an article in Psychology Today says we shouldn't accept uncritically studies that advocate white noise for concentration or learning. There are studies that find white noise and other background noise to be distracting or irritating to many people, and it reduces concentration and memory. So you should test what works best for you and what sounds work best if you like a background sound.
Do you use a sound machine?
Yeah, I have a sound machine I turn on every night before I go to bed, but I also fall asleep listening to a podcast with a timer on, but I let the sound machine run all night. How about you? Do you use a sound machine?
Well, now I do. When I was younger and I lived at home, I shared a room with my sister, and she grinded her teeth. The worst sound in the world. Then my mom grinded her teeth, but then she also snored. So it was grind her teeth, grind, snore, snore, snore. It was wonderful. My dad snored. Our dog snored. So it was a very loud household.
Yeah.
So I would sleep with the TV on at low volume.
Okay.
And I would watch the History Channel, but I'd have to find a program that I didn't find too interesting. Otherwise, that would keep me up.
Right, sure.
So when I moved out, I didn't have a TV in my bedroom, and I found the noises from the parking lot distracting. So I bought a sound machine, and I sleep with it every night.
I read a Healthline article that said experts say TV isn't the best thing to use to fall asleep. The light coming off a TV is in the blue range, which inhibits and delays the production of melatonin, and the changes in sound levels, voices, conversations, and flashes of light can disturb your sleep.
Right. And especially at night, commercials are louder.
That's weird, isn't it? Some stations,
Yeah, so that's very distracting. What is white noise?
White noise is a combination of all the different sound frequencies that you can hear in equal parts. It has a static-like sound.
Are there other colored noises?
There's pink noise and brown noise. Pink noise is all the frequencies, but the lower frequencies are more intense, so it creates a sound that isn't as high-pitched. It's compared to a wind-like sound, rain, a waterfall, or ocean waves.
Okay.
The National Library of Medicine says because of the way the human ear works, pink noise is perceived as a pleasant sound to most people.
Interesting.
A study in the Journal of Theoretical Biology found that most participants enjoyed a more stable, high-quality sleep when they were exposed to pink noise versus silence. The Ohio State University said a study found that older adults did better on memory tests and got more deep sleep with pink noise. A sleep psychologist at the Cleveland Clinic found that many patients prefer pink noise and nature sounds like rain or moving water to white noise. And then brown noise has a lower, deeper quality than pink noise. They describe it as a sound like a waterfall or a shower. I find white noise to be irritating over a long period of time, so I sometimes use pink noise or nature sounds while I'm doing research, and then the sound machine I have it set on a brown noise for sleeping.
Cool.
But my parents always used a fan when they slept, like my whole childhood.
Yeah, my dad used a big box fan.
Yeah.
It was really loud.
Researchers at Brighton and Sussex Medical School in England found nature sounds helped participants in a study relax and fall asleep better than artificial noise like white noise. Some studies suggest that white noise and other similar background sounds can make some people feel anxious over long periods, especially if the volume is on high.
Interesting.
The World Health Organization recommends keeping the sound level below 70 decibels for long periods, like all night. And exposure to sustained sounds over 50 decibels can be harmful to an infant's ears and potentially cause permanent hearing damage.
Oh, wow. That's terrible.
So they recommend keeping a sound machine 3 to 6 feet away from a child's bed and keep it at a low volume level.
Okay.
A sleep specialist and neuroscientist said our brains are fine-tuned to pay attention to sudden changes in our environment. When a new sound occurs, like a car horn or a dog barking, our brain automatically switches our attention from whatever task we're focused on to this new distracting sound. Sound machines can help by blurring away noisy distractions with a boring background sound. A Stanford University sleep researcher said boring is good, especially at bedtime, because we need to feel safe in order to fall asleep easily, and our brains register boring background sounds as safe.
Is using a sound machine good for kids?
Healthline says sleep machines that produce white noise to make environmental noises less distracting can help many children fall asleep, but not all children find it soothing. Nature sounds can be more relaxing for some children.
Okay.
A disadvantage to using a sound machine is babies can become dependent on the sound to fall asleep, and many machines designed for children exceed the recommended noise level for infants and children. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that newborns shouldn't be exposed to sound levels higher than 45 decibels to avoid hearing damage. Based on their findings, a common recommendation from pediatricians is any sound machine should be at least 7 feet from a baby's crib and kept at a low volume.
Okay.
There are some studies that are trying to determine if continuous white noise all night might be bad for a child's developing brain. So some pediatricians are recommending using a timer that turns off the sound machine after your child falls asleep.
Okay.
So I would ask your doctor before using a sound machine for your child and see if there's any new recommendations.
Cool. What are some features you should look for in a sound machine?
You should compare mechanical versus digital sound machines. And for digital sound machines, look at the number of sounds on the machine. Having multiple sounds is good for testing what sound you like.
Right.
Or it's handy if you have multiple people that are going to be using it. Look for models that say non-looping sounds. I had one that had a looping sound, and you could hear when the track would repeat, and then you're anticipating that sound, so that was very distracting.
Right.
Some sound machines have a night light. A timer will turn it off after a preset time.
Right.
Smart sound machines can be controlled with an app on your phone.
That's cool.
If you're using a sound machine in a kid's room, having one that's battery operated rather than corded reduces a choking hazard. And one model I saw plugged directly into an outlet, so it didn't have a cord.
That's cool.
There are sound machines for travel. They're smaller and come with a case. I have a small sound machine that's battery operated that I use when I travel.
Exciting.
A USB port on a sound machine is convenient for charging devices, and some have an earbud jack so you don't disturb anyone else with the sound machine.
That's cool. How much sleep should you get a night?
The National Sleep Foundation says the ideal amount of sleep per day varies depending on your age. Newborns between 0 and 3 months need between 14 and 17 hours of sleep a day.
Wow, like a cat.
That's wild, huh? Infants 4 to 11 months between 12 to 15 hours of sleep. Toddlers 1 to 2 years old between 11 and 14 hours of sleep. Preschoolers 3 to 5 between 10 and 13 hours. School-age children 6 to 13 between 9 and 11 hours. Teenagers 14 to 17 between 8 and 10. Young adults 18 to 25 between 7 and 9 hours. Adults 26 to 64 between 7 and 9. Older adults above 65 need 7 to 8 hours sleep a night.
Okay. How does sleep affect your health?
The National Institutes of Health says sleep affects almost every tissue in our bodies, including growth, stress hormones, our immune system, appetite, breathing, blood pressure, and cardiovascular health. Lack of sleep or poor quality sleep impairs attention, memory, and problem solving. It increases the risk of diabetes and cardiovascular disease, and there's also an increased risk of accidents and injuries with lack of sleep.
Is napping good for your health? Because I love napping. My parents love napping. My sister loves napping. My cats love napping too.
The Mayo Clinic says napping offers various benefits like improved mood, improved reaction time, better memory, and increased alertness. They recommend a short nap between 10 and 20 minutes. Johns Hopkins University says a 30 to 90-minute nap in older adults appears to have brain benefits, but naps longer than 90 minutes may create problems with cognition and memory.
What are some tips to get a good night's sleep?
The National Institutes of Health recommends going to sleep at the same time every night. Don't take naps after 3 p.m. and don't take a nap longer than 20 minutes. Avoid caffeine and alcohol late in the day. Avoid nicotine. Get regular exercise, but not within 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. Don't eat a full meal late in the day. A light snack is okay. Your bedroom should be comfortable, dark, and quiet, and follow a routine to relax before you go to sleep, like reading or listening to music.
What are some top-rated sound machine companies?
Electrofan, it's Lectro, capital F-A-N. Homedics, H-O, capital M-E-D-I-C-S. Snooze, S-N-O-O-Z. Dome, D-O-H-M. Hatch, H-A-T-C-H. Buff-Bee, B-U-F-F, capital B-E-E. Honeywell, H-O-N-E-Y-W-E-L-L. Sound and Sleep, it's S-O-U-N-D, the plus sign, capital S-L-E-E-P, and Sweet Z's, S-W-E-E-T, capital Z, capital Z, capital Z.
Cool. Do you have anything else to add?
Get a mechanical machine if you like the sound of a fan and you don't need extra sounds. Digital is good if you want to try a variety of sounds to see what works best for you. Keep the volume low to create a background sound that allows you to relax, and you're still able to hear smoke and CO alarms, kids, and voices in an emergency.
Right. Let's wrap this up.
You can subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast app.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review.
You can check out our home improvement videos on our YouTube channel, Fix It Home Improvement.
And you can subscribe to that as well.
You can download our ebooks, Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, books 1 through 16 on Amazon.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a 5-star rating and review.
You can email us at fixitpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow Cindy on Twitter at FixItCohost, and you can follow us on Instagram, Fixit Home Improvement.
Thank you for listening.
Talk to you next week.